Hello, friends.
Hello, Heathens.
What's up?
Good day. Good day.
We're excited for today's episode because we are talking about horror films.
Horror films.
And if
Something simple and light.
and if you guys have never listened to an episode and this is your first one, welcome to Freaks That Love Horror.
Freaks come out at night.
I did love Scooby-Doo as a kid.
Absolutely. Me too.
It was so good.
I blame my whole life on Scooby-Doo.
That encouraged the Cowardly Dog. Did you ever watch that one?
No.
Oh yeah.
Mm-mm.
That was freaky. That was pretty freaky as a kid.
No, I don't think they had that when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. No, you probably would have been like young adult.
Yes. I would Scooby-Doo, Charmed, although that was a little later. I used to watch this like late night on Saturday. Like it wasn't the Creep Show, but it was like the Dark Side. And there was one that came, The Outer World or Outer Limits or something like that. And they were back
Mm.
to back. And they were just little shows that they put on. And they
Mm.
were creepy. Loved them.
Yeah.
The Tales from the Dark Side. And then there was Friday the 13th, which was a show with seasons and stuff. And what it was, uh, somebody inherited a like occult shop from
Mm.
their uncle that died, and they had cursed items. So they were trying to gather back all of the cursed items that had gotten out.
You know what that just made me think of too?
What?
Another good one. Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh my God, that's a great one.
That was a good one.
Little shop of horrors, little shop of horrors.
Yeah, I know that sometimes nowadays like these older movies could seem so cheesy, but damn, they were good. They were so good.
Well, yeah, like even like Freddy Krueger and like they weren't even that scary. They did the job, but like still I was like not nowadays. Like I am like that's like cartoon version of horror.
I know it says it's horror, and I'm like, that's like one of the movies we're talking about today, Constantine. They said that it was horror, and I'm like, where?
Well, funny thing is I noticed that just recently that all the paranormal stuff is all horror.
Yeah, I
And I
think it
was
needs a
like,
new category.
they're literally in a house looking for ghosts.
Yeah, I there some of the ones that are considered horror, I guess I'm like so I need it to be really scary for it to be horror for me.
Or gruesome.
Or gruesome. Yeah, gore. Then it's like horror for me too.
Yeah.
I just have two really good questions. First one is, what was your first scary movie? Second one is, what's the scary movie that got you into scary movies? Like, what's the horror film that got you into horror?
Jaws.
Jaws got you into horror?
Yep.
Was that your first scary movie too?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
hmm So scared. I didn't want to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, because it's the toilet water.
Yeah. Now, logically, I knew that sharks like were in salt water, blah, 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 all that. That went out the window. I didn't want to go to the bathroom because it was going to come and get me.
Yeah, I feel that.
hmm
My first scary movie was it.
Ooh, that's
And
a good one.
whew, it didn't make me hate horror films until I
All
got
of them.
older. And then my
hmm
first one that actually really got me into it actually was The Conjuring.
Oh,
Oh, it's so good.
it's really good. That's a
It's
really good
so
one.
good. And then Insidious, I think, came out around that time too.
hmm
That movie scared the fuck out of me, and then I was hooked. I was just hooked after those two. Those were my two first scary movies that got me into horror, where I was like, yes.
Yeah, those
Again,
are good
again.
ones. Right. All right, do it again.
Make me scared again. I want to see it.
I never got into like the campy stuff. Like I did see Resident Evil's a good one too.
Oh God, yeah.
I just remember that. But what's that one with the book and the cabin in the woods that everybody likes, but it's got the Campbell in it.
Oh, oh,
Evil
uh-huh.
Dead.
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. I never really got into that. I don't hate it. I just never really. What
Oh,
was another one?
we got a glitch. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. You never got into Evil Dead.
No, I just never got into it. I didn't hate it. I just never got into it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I feel like there's some campy ones that I really did enjoy and like some old like of course we love like the dark films like Queen of the Damned and um things like that are like I just love a good like early 2000s, late 90s like dark vampire-y. They have like the instant music in it and like Underworld.
Underworld is great.
Love
Yeah.
the Underworld series. That was so
That
good.
was the best werewolves ever.
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 Ever. Every werewolf outside of that, I'm like, want, want.
Yeah, seriously.
They made them fast. They made them ferocious. They made them fierce. Like, I'm just like, that's
It
what
was
it
a
should look
good
like.
yeah, it's a good transition of man and dog or man and beast. Like it was a good like um because they were upright, but they could run on their all their legs and they could actually run on the side and the ceilings and stuff. And I thought I really appreciate those werewolves.
And when they like do the hybrid part, the half vampire, half werewolf, I loved the way he looked. I was
He
like,
looked
yes.
like a cat.
Yeah. Now I gotta look it up.
He
He
looked like a
looked like a
cat.
cat.
Hmm.
Oh no. Well, yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, he looks like a big cat, like a jaguar or something. Hmm. We froze again. Sorry, I think it's my internet
Right.
today. Also the dad in that, what's it? That actor is one of my favorite actors.
He was in
Oh,
Shaun of the Dead too. That was another one. I've seen him in a couple things, but he was in the Shaun of the Dead, and I was like, "Hey, that's that guy."
hey, that's the guy. Underworld Dad. What the hell's that actor's name? Not William Corvus. That's the what's his name? Bill Nye. Am I saying it
Yes,
right?
yes.
I just love him. I just love him. There's a few actors that I really love in horror films.
Oh yeah. I'm like, when you see him come on the screen, you're like, yes.
I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Like there's some women that are so creepy in horror films, or it's like they're just made for them. Some actresses that are like so like the one in Hereditary, that woman.
Yes.
Oh my,
Tony Collette,
yes.
she's amazing.
She is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
She is like, I'm like, dang, they don't really be giving out awards to horror film actors, but she is such a good actress. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that woman was made for horror because she was one of the creepiest moms ever.
Oh yeah. The other mom was on Hill House on the haunted.
Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. The one who plays in that, she's a great one too. I've really come to appreciate her work.
Let's see if I can find her. Because I haven't watched that, but I've heard that's really very good.
Did you see Gerald's Game?
Oh, Carla Gugino. I think I'm saying it right.
Yeah,
She was
she's
in
amazing.
The Fall of the House of Usher too, which is based on Edgar Allan
Yeah.
Poe's. Oh, she's so good. You're so right. She's phenomenal actress.
Mm-hmm.
Did I see, what'd you ask me if I've seen?
I forgot.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. Yeah, we've talked about it before, but we always do love a good nun movie. Nuns and
Absolutely.
priests, chef's fucking kiss.
Love it.
Did you like the Nun series?
Yeah, I did actually. I was surprised I liked it
Me too.
because
It
I
was
ended
so
up
good.
watching both of them again.
Good watches. I, f-
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes those movies I have to watch them again. Like horror films, sometimes like you gotta like watch it a couple times to really understand what the hell is going on. Especially like an A24 film. Oh my God. Those ones get me.
Mm-hmm. What
Like,
did you say? Because you.
oh, I said that sometimes like with movies like The Nun, I want to rewatch them because I feel like you have to watch them again to get like more of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
the A24 films.
Yeah.
Midsummer, I had no fucking idea what happened by the end of that. I was like, what just happened? And I had to like look it up and then rewatch it because I was like, I don't understand what's going on here.
Well, in that one, it's really slow to start, and then all of a sudden it hits you with everything. And it's
Yes.
very dazzling or head spinning.
Yeah. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's visually pretty too.
Absolutely.
Love a good visually pretty movie. So one of the ones we're talking about today specifically, Nicole got me back into because I didn't realize I forgot how good these movies are and how much they really do scare me. Reason being is because of the type of filming that's done. Like the way
Yeah.
that they produced it and like when it's home videos,
Yeah.
that
Isn't it
shit
like
gets
found
me.
footage? Is that how they say it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that stuff feels too real.
It really does. It really actually, you want to know a great movie that's older is Open Water
Open water. I'll write it down.
because it is I think it's found footage, but it's so real. It's 2004. Um that was great because basically, if you've never heard about this, it's basically like they're in Mexico, they're having like a honeymoon or some sort of couple of vacation, and they go out to go scuba diving. Well, they get left.
In the water? No, 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 no.
Like there's a big group of them, and they go out and they all are doing the things. They just happen to be left.
Ugh.
Like somebody didn't do a head count, they didn't get all their chicks on the board. Like they just got left.
That is one of my biggest nightmares.
Well, you're welcome.
Oh, yeah, I'll be watching that for a good scare because I'll be stressing the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like I can't do movies with sharks. I think sharks are beautiful and they're awesome, like as I do all sea creatures, but the sea freaks me out. So like 47 meters down. Ugh. Shark movies, can't do it. They stress me out.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too. Mm-hmm. That's a really good. I watched that one. I like that one better than I thought I would too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't watch it because like the thought of being stuck underwater in the dark. Ugh. My
Well, and
heart.
that was the scary part of that was it was being trapped, but the really scary part about it is like or torturous part of it was like you literally could see you could swim to it,
The
the
surface.
surface, but there's this big fucking shark in the way, right? Like he's like lurking somewhere and you can't like swim faster than a shark. Like, so that was like the big thing about that is like, yeah, you were safe where you were at, but there was a time limit and you couldn't necessarily swim to the boat because he would get
Yeah.
eaten.
Ugh. The way that I wouldn't be able to breathe the whole time, be like, ah, ah. I'm yelling for them. You know what? I do kind of feel like that though when I was watching Paranormal again, because it's been so long that it was like watching a new movie, which I did enjoy a lot. I did
Hmm.
remember parts of it, but a lot of it I was like holding my breath, like, is something gonna happen? Something's gotta happen. Everything happens at night. It's gotta happen soon. Something's gonna happen. And I was like, God, it was just so good. So, do you kind of want to give the people a little synopsis of like what the first paranormal is about?
Okay, so it's very mid-American. They're in a subdivision. They bought their first house. They're a young couple. They don't have kids yet. Uh, and stuff starts happening. And then the guy thinks it's so cool and buys a bunch of cameras and starts setting them up in the house to catch this activity. And um, of course, because the movie, things start really amping up. And then he like helps it amp up a little bit with like a Ouija board, and there's a whole thing, and they find items that they shouldn't find, and then we realize through the movie that it's really connected to her. And what I really appreciate about this film is the way they shoot it. So because you have multiple cameras set up, you get these multiple like angles and the cameras are just sitting there waiting for the stuff to happen. And I like that because you're sitting there waiting, like you're sitting in a naked like kitchen, nobody's in it. It may be nighttime, and like and then they put the clock up there sometimes. So then you see time pass through. And those are really creepy. And then like human stuff that like our loved ones are standing over us being creepy and standing still and like why are you doing that? Like the
Be-
question is like why are you doing that? And then they
yeah,
don't do anything and they go back to bed and that's it. And it's like ugh.
the part where she's standing over him, watching him for hours, then leaves to go down to the living room, and he wakes up and he's like, dude, come back to bed. She doesn't remember any of it.
Right, right.
That part, I'm like, oh no. Because it's
Hmm.
like one thing waking up thinking you saw something, right? But then it's another waking up and your partner's staring at you over the bed.
Yeah, yeah. And not for like 15 minutes. We're talking an hour, a couple hours go by. And then they
Yes.
speed it up. So you see her kind of like rock, like back and forth. Like, you know how if you stand still long enough, like you start to sway a little bit. You see her kind of teeter and stuff. And it's like, oof, oof.
I have to also say, yeah, it is the waiting game that they make you play, where like you
Hmm.
just keep flipping through frames and like different cameras and like nothing's happening, and all of a sudden it's like just like a cupboard door will open. Well, then it's
Yeah.
like a knock or a bang somewhere that the camera didn't
Yeah.
catch, and then it's this, and now all of a sudden she's standing above him for hours, and you're like,
Yeah.
wait, I wasn't prepared.
And that actress is so good about being creepy because I ended up watching all of them and she's kind of in all of them except for the last two, except for the last two, I think. Um, every time she goes down the fucking stairs, dude, like just perfectly like possessed is the best way I can like describe it. It's like it's not a regular person going down the stairs. It's literally like she's got this perfect canter as she goes downstairs.
Yes, it's like the lack of like fidgeting or
Yeah.
moving like
Yeah.
that we normally do. Because even here, I'm like messing with little thing. Like we move a lot when we talk. We have like all these
Mm-hmm.
little things, and it's just if I was sitting here just standing, like no emotion, not moving my
Yeah.
body at all. Oh, and she just perfectly is walking down the.
But it's not mechanical. It doesn't look like it's mechanical. It's not like she's like, I'm a robot and she's walking downstairs. It's like literally like I am only doing the necessary motions that require me to go downstairs and nothing more.
Mm.
It's so slick.
Dude, in that ending. I'm like, well, we don't have cameras everywhere? Why aren't we covering the whole inch of the house?
That goes to the next one.
Yeah, well, there you go. Okay. I
The
don't,
next one has more cameras.
I haven't watched, I think I've watched the first and second, but I can't literally remember that's how long it's been. And so I'm excited to like watch the rest of them because I, like I said, rewatching that first one was like watching a whole new horror film again.
Yeah, I really appreciate that too. Is that the fact like you're like, okay, I get the premise of it, but like, and I had never watched them. I thought they were going to be completely corny. I mean, I literally just started watching them for the first time this year
Hmm.
because I was just like, why? It's going to be stupid. I don't know. Whatever. But it, I liked the way the story was kind of woven through because they started out with this one sister, then they go to the next sister, and stuff happens to that. And you think it's just a simple um ghost or maybe a something a little stronger than that. And then it goes into like when they were kids. And then, of course, we bring in the villain, which is witches.
Of course.
Of course.
Duh.
And you realize that they've been doing this like on purpose and they're grooming and all this cult stuff. And I was like, see, bad name for witches. And then what happens? And then I thought it was really cool. They sidetrack or so the one, two, three, and then four is I think they go I can't remember. I think because when you have like a Hispanic neighborhood and it starts in that, and then you realize it's a connection, like you find pictures of like the woman in like these pictures, and you realize that they're taking these, oh, it was the marked ones, is what it was called. I
Mm.
can't remember if it, okay, so I think four was that uh they basically are looking for these kids that they have basically marked when they were in utero and now they're at the right age for whatever they're doing.
Oh, shit.
But still the same creepy shit, like, and it's still creepy. It doesn't lose its potency. Uh you're still like in the corner, like, oh,
So
holding
the
your breath because shit.
moments that make you yell, oh shit.
Right, oh shit. But I will say I just finished the whole series up with Next of Kin. And this one really has nothing that maybe this really has nothing to do with any of them. There's
Mm.
barely any paranormal activity in it.
Mm.
It was just a weird cult and they're trapping a demon.
Oh,
And
so like that's like the cult part of the movies series.
maybe, but it doesn't really like these were called something else and then these guys were called like the one that was part of the whole entity with the first part of paranormal was I think a different entity and they called him something different and he was something different maybe, but then this one was like a different demon altogether. And basically they were using a certain type of bloodline woman that would trap the demon inside them and then they kept her, it was that was the demon's prison.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well,
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't the best. It wasn't part of, maybe it would have been better if it was like just a standalone movie instead of it being part of the paranormal like genre. And maybe I don't get it because I didn't do any research on it besides watch the movie. Maybe I missed something that connected it to that.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see what you mean. But if it's like such a different like storyline and like completely different in the way that they've been doing everything, it kind of like doesn't fit the part as well.
Right, right. And that's why I'm like, I don't understand. But oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like Saw is what it's reminding me of, how it was so
Mm-hmm.
good in the first like I want to say 3, 4 movies, and then it starts getting like eh, not as like
Well, because they always have to up the ante, and at some point you cross a threshold into being just cheesy.
yeah, it's like you went from being sadistic, right? I guess is the best lack of term I can find. Because those
Hmm.
first like 3, 4 movies are like, God almighty, like who comes up with this stuff? But then you keep going and
Hmm.
you're like, well, now it just feels like we're in a haunted house without like the scary part of the storyline with it. I think we froze again.
Hi.
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 I said, I think we froze again. And then we both go, hi.
I was like,
Saying that, I feel like as you keep going into the Saw movies, it just gets to a point where it starts feeling like a haunted house instead of like having the good storyline to back it to make you feel like, God, this is messed up.
no, I think at some point they derail because it makes so much money that they almost forget why.
Yeah, they forget their purpose.
Watch it. We'll all go out and watch it just to make sure that it's good or not, right? Because we're like we're really hoping to relive that first part of it,
Yeah,
right? Like even like when we
yeah.
talked about Jurassic Park, every time we watch it, we're wanting to relive that first initial Jurassic Park when we watched it for the first time, when we watched the dinosaurs like come to life and like, be alive. And it's really what we're always trying to get back to is that first initial feeling, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I feel like for me, it's like aren't there 4 of them now? I think
What?
Jurassic World, Jurassic Park. There's like 4 of them, I think, right?
There's way more than four.
Oh.
There
Oh.
is because Jurassic World has three.
Oh yeah. Because there's like I love the first one. Of course, we all love the first one. The one where they're in the park with the nephews. That one's all right. But then the one where like the things getting used for military. I can't remember if that was the park one, I think. No, because they had a new one that camouflage. I don't know. I
Hold
get I
on.
get them confused now because
I
of the
know. Well, because they're all the same
they're all the
movie.
same.
They just get a different dinosaur as my daughter picked out.
Yep.
Oh, these are just I want to buy them. No, this is not what I want.
That's not what she wanted.
That's not what I wanted. Um, Jurassic, maybe. There's a map. I love it. Okay, here we go. Jurassic Park in 93.
Yes.
Lost World, Jurassic Park, 97. Jurassic Park 3, which oh, um, the Lost World. So Jurassic Park is where they get out. The Lost World is where they have to go back. I think they take them off the island on the third one.
Uh,
I can't remember what they actually do each one. Oh, sometimes I like this mouse on my laptop. But the Jurassic Worlds, which I'm more familiar with, is you get the big like Jurassic Park where they reopened it, reinvented it, and they have the raptors, and we see what's his name in it?
yeah. Um,
Chris Pratt.
yep.
For the first time, his new look. And he's
Yep.
all hot and shit, fucker. And then after that, we go to the Fallen Kingdom, which this one is about them going on the island, and they go under the guise of like they're going to save them because a volcano is erupting and they are going to move them to a different island or something like that. Which is of course not what they want to do.
That's the one with at the end when the freaking long neck thingy is like crying because they're leaving on the boats, right? And I was like, no, my heart, don't leave him. He's a
Yes.
sweet one.
Yes, yes. It's always I love what I love about the movies is they go true to the first one. They always put the first little like um what are those called? Easter eggs in all of the movies. You always get the Tyrannosaurus Rex screaming,
Yeah.
right? And being just awesome. And then you always get the dinosaurs and Brachiosaurus, and you always get them like doing something uh gentle, giant and
Yep.
just the massive bigness of them, right? Like it's so amazing because you get and like I appreciate even the last one that was called World Domination. This is like they brought out one of those dinosaurs that had the feathers where they started to evolve into like it was a reptile, but it was also a like bird.
Mm.
And it was one of my favorite dinosaurs. And it's I don't know, I appreciate them. I like the characters in it. I like Lauren Dern. I like what's the other one that played the um what was her name? She's Ron Howard's daughter. Oh, this is
Um,
just giving me the characters for the first Jurassic Park.
Bryce Howard.
Uh, yes, yes. We weren't even supposed to talk. This isn't even a horror film. Totally side note. Totally side note on it. Sidecar.
Yeah,
We
well,
just, I mean, it's fine.
heathens, man.
I know you can't keep them on track. I don't know
You
what to
keep-
tell you. You can't train them. They are not housebroken. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
We're gonna take you down all the paths you didn't think you were gonna go down today.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, I think right after our activity, we should go to The Conjuring.
Oh, The Conjuring, so good.
This I absolutely, well, first of all, I have a love affair with the Warrens. And it was so funny when I discovered that I was a total nerd, is I just thought that everybody knew the Warrens and worshiped them. I thought they were that famous, right? So then I started talking to my normal friends and I'm like, well, yeah, the Warrens, they totally did stuff like this and that's about them. And they were like, who?
You're like, what do you mean, who? What do you
Oh,
mean?
just me? Oh, oh, sorry. You mean I'm the only one that knows about these guys and seen like videos of them being on, talk shows and talking about like cleansing houses and reading books about them cleansing houses. Me? Only one? Okay, cool. I'll see my way out. Like,
Yep.
I was like, oh, nobody. I think I asked like 4 or 5 people and still got the same, like, no. And I was like, oh.
especially like when the Conjurings were coming out, I feel like that's like it was pretty I feel like it was pretty easy to be like, oh, the Warrens, yeah, they're in the Conjuring, right?
Right, right. That's what I thought too. Apparently that is not a thing.
Yeah, apparently not.
Conjuring 7. That's not right. What am I looking at? Okay. Okay, we'll do the Conjuring. So what did you think of them?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were like looking up specifically something to talk about. I love them. If we're talking about the first one specifically, that movie scared the absolute shit out of me. Especially because like I said, it was one of the first ones that really got me into like horror films, but like, dude, the
Mm-hmm.
mom in that was so fucking creepy, just
I
so
love that
terribly
actress
creepy.
too. Yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
she did a phenomenal job. Well, and like even outside of just the movie, like being a great movie, the fact that they were experiencing things as the cast, like they were experiencing paranormal activity outside of like they just like during filming and stuff, not even purposeful to the movie.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, holy shit.
We just watched a ghost investigation show where they actually went to that house because some ghost hunters actually came up for sale. Some ghost hunters bought it. They live in it. They were having activity, right?
Oh yeah, of
So
course.
they brought in these people that we were watching, and it was so cool because like they actually brought the original family back to that house.
Dude, the way I would never,
The mom won't. The
I
mom
wouldn't
won't.
either.
Mm-mm.
I don't blame her, dude. She like got fucked up in that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it was mostly like picking on her, and she's the one that I think got most of the activities. The kids, some of the kids, they're adults now. They're, in their 50s and 60s. And some of them were like, emotional about it. Some of them were like, then they were retelling their stories in it and all that kind of stuff. So it was very cool.
Yeah, that would be good to watch. Man, like, and one of the girls, she befriends a spirit. Like, is she the youngest? No. Trying to remember. I think she might be like the middle child, right? But like her befriending that spirit and like the whole time you're just questioning like is this a good thing, is this a bad thing, what's gonna happen, like, and then when the Warrens get there and Lorraine's walking around outside and she freaking sees the lady hanging on the tree, oh my
Hmm.
god. And like, of course Ed's always very sensitive to when she's going through something, which I really appreciate that portrayal of them in their movies, like
Right, right.
because and everyone, especially what was the one, is it The Devil Made Me Do It, when she's running to the edge of the cliff
Yes,
and
yes.
he's like, Lorraine, and it snaps her out of it finally, and I'm like, I was in tears because I was like, holy god, oh my god. I know that's not how she dies in real life, but what if they did that for the cinematography of it all?
Oh, I know. I know. It's a tough, and I love the actors that they pick to play them. They're so amazing. And like, I love them already. I mean, we love the guy already because he was in Insidious
Yes.
and some other things. And then like I've seen her in a bunch of films that really are good and really are some of my favorites. They're some of my favorite actors. So to have them play these in my book icons that have I don't know, helped people out with like weird shit, um really, I don't know, I just really did it justice, I thought.
Hell yeah. Do you know what I also really enjoy about these Conjuring series is that they always end up they do enough research and they do a lot of like investigating to find out what the actual hell is happening instead of just going in and being like, oh, we'll do this to the house, we'll do this to your kid needs this, or you, the mom, need this. And like, we're just going to do that and leave you guys alone. And that's going to be it. Instead, they go out to find out like what the spirit's actually there for, why it's doing the things that it's doing. Cause like, in the
Right.
last one, I remember it was like, witchcraft as well as like a woman who sold her soul to a demon to get what she needed, but because she couldn't do it, she got taken. I think the first one is also like a ritual that happened, right? The mom killed her baby and then I cannot remember.
I think they, and I'm not quite sure if it really, that story really is part of the truth. We'd have to do a little more digging on the truth part. This is just the movie part.
Yeah.
Um, I think the witch that they're talking about in the movie killed her baby for the devil or something,
Mm,
and
yeah.
then hung herself outside or something like that, and that's how all the activity was or whatever.
Well, that's why the mom got possessed too, is because like the witch was going after the mom to like
Mhm.
get her kid. Dude,
Mhm.
her crawling through that wall, I'm gonna say it again. That just
Oh.
there is
Oh.
something about a human doing unnatural human things like that you should not be able to do or be doing, like crawling through the bones of a house. That fucking gets me, man. It
Yeah,
gets
that one
me.
was rough. And she's got her face paint on and
Oh.
stuff, and it's like, ugh. I really thought when she's strapped to the chair too, that was super scary.
Yes. Oh, I just got
Yeah.
chills. Ugh, that was
Mhm.
so freaky. I think they did that movie. Now, granted, like most movies, they have to dramatize it, right? They have to make it like, somewhat fictional because if they don't, then it's like, well, we can't, it's not going to be as like scary usually or as like dramatized and
Well, yeah, because we want it to be an illusion. We want it to be so active that you're like, oh my God, like, and really, like, real hauntings are not that way at all. At all. And if they are like that, even the other house that, like that house that people really live in is like books will fall off, but it's not like, somebody's outside killing your dog, right? Like
yeah.
it's just it's so dramatized. uh, And I find it, and it's fine, whatever, but
Yeah, and we love that shit. I feel like if you were going to dramatize a movie, I think The Conjurings take those real stories and put them in a really good dramatized version because it's like
mhm,
it's enjoyable to watch. If you want a good scary movie, those are good scary movies where it's like everything that happens makes
right.
sense. Because do you know like how sometimes you like go through a whole movie, you're waiting to find out what the fuck's actually going on, and then when you find out what it is, you're like, that's what I've been scared of this entire time.
Oh yeah, that was like Smile, right?
Smile is one of my best ones I can describe. It's like the movie is
Yeah.
terrifying until the end, and I was like, dude, want.
Although
Or
I
the
did appreciate the monster.
although I will say, yeah, it did make me laugh, but also I was like, all right, I was a little want where I was like, damn, that's why I was scared of this whole time. But then I was like, damn, I was scared. I was-
Right, but the great thing is I thought they did a great job for the monster, like, it was aesthetically pleasing, it was, but I wasn't, once you see the face of the monster, then you're like, "Well, whatever."
Yeah, and that's what I think I enjoy about the Conjurings is sometimes you don't see the face, you just know it's this entity and you know why the
Yeah,
entity is there because like what happened to get it there, but like you don't really know what the hell it looks like
or what it wants.
or what it wants.
You have no idea what the end goal of it is,
Yes.
and I think that's scarier too. Because like, if I'm safe and you're just throwing books off the shelf, I'd be like, "Okay, Harold, stop doing that, that's naughty ghost."
Bad boy.
Right, but, like, if they're trying to kill you and they throw a bolt off it, it's a whole nother, like, meaning.
Yeah. I was gonna say too, just remind me again, is like That's why I kind of like the paranormal activities movies too, is because some of that stuff could be real life, like the opening of cupboard doors or like something getting pushed off the counter. Like usually that's pretty like even that's dramatized, but like it is based in some real reality.
Right, right. What I find with like paranormal stuff is they speed up. They cut out the bits because the way a real haunting really amps up really is you have to do construction in your house. You have to just it's a between area. You have to be in between. So with a house that's been in construction, it's not finished. And it's that in between that kind of wrestles up the spirits to get them going. But also, we got to realize it takes a lot of fucking energy to do stuff when you don't have a body and you're not eating
Yeah, think
and
about
you're
not
not like
having,
attached to source.
yeah, like you don't have a literal like muscles and tendons and bones to like pick
Right.
something up.
And this is a dense vibration.
Yeah. That's why I like it. That's why I like them so much, is because it's like the most extreme version that you could possibly get, and usually dramatized. Ah, you know what I'm
Dramatized.
dramatized
Dramatized.
like version of it. But it's like it reminds me of like holy shit. Like sometimes, dude, this is like actual factual. Like the fact that the parents, right? Parent family.
Parents, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that they're real and that they have experienced this, and the mom won't even go back in the house because she's like, dude, if I go back in there, that spirit's gonna have me in its grip in a heartbeat. Fuck that.
Right.
She's also like traumatized as hell because she's like, everything I fucking actually did go through in this house sucked. I'm
Right. Right.
not doing that
And
again.
well, and that's what's the great thing about it is that we really realize that it's not fun and games, and people do get really scared and they do have like these experiences that are very, very real to them. And we can laugh at them and do all that kind of stuff. But like, if you've ever been that scared by something you can't fucking see,
Yeah.
and that's really why like I like to do house cleansing and you like to do house cleansing. It's because you shouldn't be afraid in your own house.
Fuck
It's
no,
hard,
dude.
there at some point, sorry, my Zakora is very animated today, I guess.
She's
She's
lovely.
insistent.
She said, you're talking about my favorite genre.
She's like, "Oh, we watched that horrible movie together just a minute ago, didn't we?" Mm. Um, I forgot what my rant was about.
I honestly did too. Sorry.
I do have the list of I didn't realize it was this big, of the Conjuring movies. So the order that you're supposed to watch them all in is The Nun, Annabelle the Creation, The Nun 2, Annabelle, The Conjuring, The Curse of
La Llorona.
La Llorona.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent movie, by the way.
Bomb movie.
Did you know that that was Velma in that movie?
Yes, I sure the fuck did, because
I
I
was
was like,
like,
there's a part
Velma.
where her daughter
And
gets ripped out of the front door, and it made me laugh so hard. But the way that she said something, I go, oh my God, that's Velma. And Jordan was
uh-huh.
like, who? And I was like, Scooby Doo, baby, that's it. That's Velma. And then I looked it up. He's like, no way. And I looked it up, and we were both like free. I was geeking, and I loved it even more because of that.
Well, when you watch it again, there's a little thing that I want you to see. They pan over and the child is watching TV, one of the children, and there's fucking Scooby Doo
No,
on the TV. And I was like,
ooh, I love
whoa.
that.
Yeah, completely. I was
Ooh,
like, oh my God, I'm so excited.
I love that movie. That was so good.
Okay, so after that is Annabelle Comes Home, Conjuring 2, and then the Mevel made me do it.
Like Neville. Neville made you do it? Neville Longbottom?
Yep. He's a powerful wizard and super hot since he grown up. So,
No. The Warrens are going up against Neville Longbottom. Uh,
Well, he did it.
well, he
There
made
was
them do
witchcraft.
it.
He made him do it. I don't know what to say. Oh yeah, that was uh, great.
I will say that okay, the Devil Made Me Do It's the latest one, right? And the last one.
Hmm.
I
No,
was
they're coming out with, I think, not a movie but a series
ooh,
um to finish it all up.
oh, yes. I was concerned when The Devil Made Me Do It was coming out because, again, with series like in movies, sometimes we start to get away from like the um what do I want to say? The flow of things where it's like that's why I watch it is because the flow's so good and I really enjoy that. And like I love these movies. They scare the shit out of me. Every single one's been so good. And like it gets a little nerve-wracking towards the end because you're like, oh, is this gonna be as good? 10 out of 10 recommend. The Devil Made Me Do It was so fucking good.
Yeah. Well, and I think I haven't seen Creation. I think I've seen Annabelle, and they're pretty good. I haven't seen Annabelle Comes Home. I wasn't really into the doll thing because I was kind of upset because I've read the story from their
Yeah.
book about how it happened, and that's what I was expecting. So when I didn't get what I was expecting, I was like, ugh,
Yeah. He
just
said,
mad
and
about
done.
mad about it.
I will say I also have not watched any of the Annabelles because inanimate objects like that freak me out. Dolls, mannequins, clowns. They really get to me. I have a real fear of them and like
How'd you get
Annabelle
through?
scares me.
How'd you get through cosmetology?
Oh, like the mannequin heads, it's like when they're full body.
Oh, okay.
Like go walking in the store and you're walking by one. I usually take the route around it. Like clowns, I
Mm-hmm.
try to like just stay out of their line of sight. Like I don't want to be in a room full of dolls. Freaks me out. And I feel like I'm gonna watch Annabelle and then get even more scared.
Not really, because it looks like the Annabelle like Hollywood version. Like she got a facelift and she got a whole new makeup artist and she got a no whole new seamstress. Like it's like because
She,
we know, or I don't know if you know, but I know you know the real
yes,
Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann
it's a Raggedy Ann
doll,
doll, which
right?
were creepy
Which
to
is
begin with.
way creepier already. And then they
Yes.
made it like this Chucky version
It's
is what
yeah,
they
it's a
made it.
porcelain doll essentially, but like almost
Hmm.
like cartoony.
Yeah, like it's so grimacing that you're like,
Mm, who would have who
okay,
wanted that in the first place, kind of? That's what it's
right,
like. Who was buying that? That's what makes
right.
me think of. Everybody had Raggedy Ann when Raggedy Ann came out. If you guys don't know what a Raggedy Ann doll is, look it up. For most of our listeners, I think you all know what it is.
Yeah,
They,
I'm like, that's actually creepier than like something so innocent. I think because that's why I think kids are creepy
yeah.
because they're so innocent. And not only that, like when I was watching The Omen, because I always think what, like you do is you always think through this movie, like, what would I do in this scenario? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so if we literally have a demon child, I'm dead. I'm dead. So, because what are you going to do? Are you going to kill the said child? Nope, I'm out. I'm out. I'm
Yeah,
just
I
dead.
was gonna say, I don't know, man. You got a little demon child trying to bite me. I might punch it and kick it to get it away from me and just try to get away. I don't know if I could kill a kid, even if it is possessed by the devil. I just don't think I could do it.
Right, right. Well, that's the thing. It's like and kids are creepy because you can't kill them.
Yeah, kids are just creepy in general. Like, especially in scary movies, is what we're talking about in the realm of creepy, just
Well,
so you guys
sometimes,
know.
right?
But there is this thing. I was just telling the baby about this last last week when I was talking to her. Um, have you ever heard of Uncanny Valley?
Mm-mm.
Okay, Uncanny Valley is a psychological phenomenon that happens when like when an object looks too human, but it's not. It's missing the emotional intelligence of a human. So like mannequins or a good example is wax museums, those creepy wax things that look like a human, but they have no emotion. That's Uncanny Valley. And it's like
Okay.
freaks people out. It's like the psychological phenomenon that gives you like the heart palpitates because you're like, I know that motherfucker's not real. It's creepy, and that's what sometimes kids can do too.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
uncanny valley where you're like, are you human? You look like you're human, but you look like you're also not. I don't know if that doesn't look human.
Well, right. You haven't trained him yet to be
Yeah.
human, right? Like there are certain things in society that we do and we expect people to do. So, and kids are untrained. They're heathens.
Sometimes the lack of response or the response that has no emotion behind it, sometimes they'll get me where I'm like, huh.
Where they
Like,
just stare at you.
you want to just be like,
I'm
you
like,
are you from this planet? Wink
and then they
once.
stare at you more.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not worthy.
Yeah, you're like, why is that child staring into my fucking soul right now?
All right. Seriously.
Yeah, Conjuring
Okay.
series, gotta watch it.
So next we will do,
Oh,
apparently I keep bumping the wrong thing. Um, let's do Constantine because that the rest of the ones are all along that line.
oh.
Constantina,
So
which
you introduced me to this movie. I had
you're
not heard
welcome.
of it before you, and I have to say a huge shout out to fucking Nicole because I've since watched that movie. I've probably watched it like well, I watched it again this morning. That's how much I love this movie. Not only because, well, that's a big part of it. Daddy Keanu. Oh my God. That man is a work of art.
I mean, I'm not gonna be mad about it.
No. This movie's so fucking good, you guys. If you've not seen it, so good.
It's very good. It goes along the line of not only being biblical but also occultish. And Keanu Reeves is a psychic medium kind of that had this gift for a very long time, was very tortured as a youth because his parents thought he was insane. So they did a lot of shock therapy. They did what they could, right? Because they thought
Yeah.
he was possessed or whatever. Um, At some point, he couldn't take it anymore, so he committed suicide, but he lived. And this is why his soul was promised to the devil. So he thought that he could kind of buy his way into heaven. Because we find him in the state of is he's got lung cancer and it's advanced stages and
Yeah.
that kind of thing, right? So,
But he also chain smokes like a mother trucker.
right. Um, So he is at the top of his game. He has an adorable sidekick, which is Shia LaBeouf, and he he goes into it very well. Well, somebody does a whole thing starts to happen that he doesn't know. It's working, although he sees it and he's like, "Did you see this? And did you see this?" And everybody's like, no, John, you're crazy. Like, that can't happen. That's not allowed because there are rules, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
I appreciate who does Gabriel?
Oh, you know
What's her
what? She is
name?
also the queen in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yes, in Narnia. Tila Tilda Swanson Swinson. I'm bad. I'm horrible. I'm so sorry.
Tilda Swinton.
Yes, Tilda. Love her. Huh.
One of the best portrayals of an angel to me. If we're gonna make him
Absolutely.
human, make him androgynous, make him
Absolutely.
look beautiful. But also, like, you can't really put a like limit and a boundary on the beauty of an angel, and that was just the best representation, I think, in my personal opinion. Also, Satan in that, Lucifer.
Absolutely. Lucifer, Peter Strawmare. Dude.
I would I am sad because I'm like, I wish that there was like something with him as Lucifer in it because he did a Lucifer better than I have ever in my life liked a Lucifer. Ever.
That whole scene was so good.
Oh, it was
So, oh God, I disappeared. Sorry, I didn't realize I was gone. So sorry. So sorry.
so sad.
All right, this just in, folks. I before we started, I asked Damien what his favorite horror movies were. So this is what he has: Mothman Prophecies, A Dark Song, which we're going to talk about, and Skinnamarink, which I don't know, and I'm going to have to watch now because he said it.
Hmm. Yeah. How do you spell it?
Uh, Skinam.
Oh yeah. Skinnamer Skinnamarink.
Yes, Skinnamarink.
Hmm.
So watch Constantine. It brings in, like, basically the story is that the spear of God, one of the heavenly weapons that they had, was lost and was now found because they were basically trying to, the prince of hell, the devil's son, was trying, he needed certain things in order to come to Earth, to be almost born to Earth and wreak havoc. And that's basically what they kind of find out.
Yes. And there's lots of symbols and lots of books and lots of things that are used in this movie that also are used in real life as well, that are like so fascinating. Like the symbols on his arms, the freaking, there's like different books, different things, like him having holy water, him using like, the friggin' his like my favorite thing that he uses is this little, what are those called? The knuckle thingy, for a punch.
Oh, brass
Um,
knuckles.
brass knuckles that are like
Brass knuckles.
they're
Oh,
like holy
sorry.
brass knuckles, and I'm like,
Oh,
God, it's
yeah.
just
They got
mm.
crosses in them. He's
Yeah.
also got that cool little trinket thing where he's like looking for the right symbol to like banish the demon. The first one
Oh
that
my
was in
God,
the
yeah,
little
wait.
girl.
I was
I
gonna
want that so bad.
Yeah, because he like opens the window, so he's got the light on this possessed girl, and he's like flipping through with the sun to one of them. The symbol burns the demon, and that's what he uses to help exorcise it out. And it's just, it's such a good movie. He evicts demons back to hell. He sends them back to hell,
Yeah.
and that's what he's using to try to climb his way, win his ticket into heaven.
Right. But the funny thing is that if he does, it's like a cop going to jail,
Yeah.
right? Like he's going to be put in with all these demons. So, of course, they're like, every once in a while they come around and they go, John, we can't wait to get you down here. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, when Lucifer comes, he's like, I have a whole amusement park of items for you.
uh-huh.
He's like, I can't wait.
Ooh, and the way he talks and stuff is so good. Oh,
Wait, which
it's
Lucifer or Constantine or both?
Lucifer.
Oh yeah, God. That actor just did Lucifer so, so well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad
Mm-hmm.
it's only in that little excerpt of the movie, but it was good.
Well, I think Constantine too is, let me see if he's in there. because I didn't look up anything yet because I've always wanted one, but I haven't like I didn't wanna rejection. I didn't
Yeah,
want it not to be true.
right, same.
I still don't believe it. I still am like, "No, no, they're not gonna do it."
Yeah, it was like the new Matrix. I was like, yeah, right.
Right. Oh, he is in it. Peter
Oh,
Strawman.
yes.
Yep.
Yes. He was such a good Lucifer. So, 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 so good.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be excited to see that. Ooh.
I am excited to see that too. I
I've
was
watched
trying to see.
Constantine so much I ended up buying it on Amazon Prime because I was like, dude, I probably spent the money to buy it and watching it, if not way more, because like you can only rent it. And I was like, screw this, I'm just gonna buy it so I have it on there and then like I can watch it whenever I want.
Right. That's well, I had already bought it because it was like I not only because I watched it for so long, I own a hard copy of it too.
Love that. It's
Um,
so good.
oh, that's not a very good synopsis. I wanted to never mind. Dumb. See, this is why I don't believe it's coming out. Is because like I just the stuff I find on it is not completely set in stone. Do you know?
Yeah.
I think they have trailers, but like they only had two. Oh God, sorry.
Oh, I didn't hear it. So
Oh,
did it
good,
scare
because it
you?
can yeah, because I pushed on the push trailer for two, and it started playing in my headphones, and I was like, "Oh God."
Love that.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do that on my own time. So the next, are you done with Constantine?
Yeah, watch Constantine. It's great. There's a lot of
Absolutely.
symbolism is it in it. I'd
Hmm.
say Constantine is another one where you might want to watch it more than once to really truly understand what the hell's going on or what they're talking about. Because there's a lot of things that I still am noticing rewatching it.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah,
all I
because
got for that.
there's a lot of stuff that's new to you, and you'll need to like watch it to pick them up.
Yeah, like I really want to know what the ring thing in the beginning was that you were talking about too, because I saw
Right.
that today this morning and I was like, well, do I need that? What is that?
Right.
I think I need that.
I'm like, well, so the second one, do you want to talk? Well, we could go to the right.
All right, was good. I'd
Oh,
say, well, just probably time wise, I'd say let's get into A Dark Song and The Ninth Gate.
okay.
Because like I didn't get to watch A Dark Song yet, so I want to hear. Tell me all the things, Nicole.
Oh, the dark song. Because I was okay. So I get a lot of messages when I watch movies. I can see things um that are there. I get downloads when I watch it. And when I was starting to get into ritual magic, I needed something that I could watch where I could I don't relate to it in some way in a fast track kind of like because you start reading hermetics and you start reading alchemy and like all this stuff is new. It's very overwhelming, and I didn't have a strong holder and anchor to like really like, well, what is this?
Yeah.
Just I need it like boiled down to something that just is digestible to me at this point. So the only movie out there that's worth mentioning is The Dark Song. So this movie is basically a mother loses their son, and then she wants to contact him. And she finds ritual magic and she knows that it can be done, but she needs a magician to help her with it.
Mm.
There's a certain type of ritual that is uh it's very profound, it's very hard, you have to do a lot of things it's like an 18-month ritual.
Yeah. Wow.
So in this movie, what they do is they end up locking themselves in a house with multiple rooms, almost like a mansion. And they set up each one how they're supposed to set it up. And she's got to do these rituals. She can't eat meat, and she's got to um like she's got to meditate long enough where she like ends up peeing herself. She sets up these very detail oriented sigils and signs and circles and like all that stuff. So you watch her go through this very not only time consuming but exhausting, like, to your body, and like, and she can't they do a they have a circle around the house, so you're not supposed to leave the house at all. Like, you for this 18 months you can't leave the house at all because of that. um they go through, and like, she's fine. She's not particularly warm and fuzzy. The magician is not very warm and fuzzy. He's kind of a dick, like, but he's getting paid for it, so he'll do it.
Mm,
They're not the best people. You don't think they have each other's best, like, interest at heart either. Like, it's
mm.
just, again, it's just dark, right?
Gives you like a moral complex watching it.
Yeah, because it's not like you're watching Merlin with like the Arthur, and like he's like, "Yeah, son, come this way and we'll do this, blah blah blah." No, it's not
Yeah.
like that at all. It's like, "Well, it's going to be hard, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." And like it's just like that kind of tension, right?
Gotcha.
And of course the colors are very like melodramatic and dark, and like the blues aren't crisp and all that kind of stuff. Um it gets a little creepy as it starts to go on, because she starts opening things that need to be open for her to get where she wants to be. And basically, where she's getting to is she's going to ask one wish, and she's going to meet her holy guardian angel, which is what we're doing in ritual magic, is trying to contact our higher self, our holy guardian angel. Um, but you have to build up this energy to meet them halfway.
Mm,
You have to do the work to get to them. So this is what she's doing. And at some point, like, and we're talking like very basic, like she's sleeping on the floor on a mattress, like she only has a few things, like she's got food for the amount of time. And she hears her son on the other side. One night she hears her son on the other side of the door. And she knows in her heart it's not her son. Like, she's not gonna open the door. She knows it's not him, but like, so heart-wrenching because it's his voice and he's calling to her and he wants her to come out, and like, it's very rough. And then like at some point they explode. There was something that happened where she did, and I can't remember what it was, where she comes out with like something, or something happens where she wasn't pure in her intentions, and the magician's like, "No, you can't do it like this," and something happens and they have a little thrussle, and he gets stabbed. Not by like her, but he gets stabbed. But they can't leave the house.
okay.
So then things start taking a darker turn. He's got like an infection, he's sweating, they don't have antibiotics, like, you still can't go out of the house, nothing will like. Eventually what happens is you almost see the entities of the underworld, is really what it is, take his body to the basement. or he goes down there. I can't remember how it actually works out, but she goes down there too. She ends up being kind of tortured ish. And then it's so great because she ends up like fighting her way back to the light. And like, even though she's down there and she could surrender and she could stay down there, it's the underworld. Like, they could overwhelm her and take her. But she climbs back up the ladder and she gets up there and she, you know, ends up going all the way to the top where she meets this angelic being, and it's not corny, and I loved it so much because I thought the attention to detail and the it wasn't just a piece of light, but it gave you this like overwhelming creature that was bigger than you and not so human but human. Um and then she asked her question or her dream or her wish or whatever. Very excellent movie on magic. um It was dark, it wasn't hokey, it wasn't like Harry Potter, it's the best rendition of ritual magic without being um super corny. And I will tell you this, that this is also dramatized of ritual magic. This is not how it works. Like, like, you're not necessarily like, there's a lot of fucking reading that goes involved in it. And it takes years to get to where you're at, not just 18 months. And nobody has time or the money to like really perform this ritual how it's supposed to be performed.
Right.
Right. So that's why it's kind of like illusionary and dramatic. But I appreciate it because, like, it was good. I really liked it.
It's like one of those movies where you're like, how the hell is this gonna have a good ending until the end? And you're like, oh, it's fine.
And it doesn't necessarily have a great ending.
Oh,
Do you know
really?
what I mean? It's not like all of a sudden, like, you know, the heavens open up and she speaks to God or she gets a pair of wings. Like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't end up being like, it kind of is very, once she like asks her thing, she also has to, she takes the body and she floats it in the pond or river that's back there. Like, it's very, and then she leaves. It's not like it's this huge, like, oh, yes, yeah, very nice, very well done, like, kind of moment. It's like, okay, I did this, I met him, I did it, and now I have to clean up my mess, is basically how it kind of feels.
Sometimes I appreciate endings like that though, because when you watch like a whole horror film and then the ending is really happy and good, you're like, okay, like why did we go through all of this just to have the happy ending? Like, why? I didn't need that.
Right, right. Like, oh, okay, like, sure, sure, we're just gonna go back to our normal selves.
Yeah, we're fine. Everything's fine. What do you mean?
Oh, right, right. Like Descent. Descent is a good one where it's like you go through fucking hell literally, and then you come out the other end and you're like, what? Yeah, yeah, back to normal. Let me get my job out.
That's like Hereditary was like that too, though, where it was like really good at the ending because it was like nobody made it. Nobody made it. Everybody, and now we're just like we're ending the movie with his possession, and I was like, that's the kind of ending I want.
Right. And we're like, oh, okay.
Even Smile. Oh, so this is getting passed on. It's kind of like what's the other one that gets passed on? It's not The Ring, is it? It's
The Ring is one of them, yeah.
gets passed on, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
What just occurred to me is I really want to mention and do a shout out to Ouija and the original. I was expecting those to be fucking dumb. And I
I
end up being like, these are really good. It's really good.
I have not watched those.
I will say I like the original more than I like the Ouija, the first one that came out. Only because it was kind of like The Ring, where it's like, oh, you touch this and everybody like is now contaminated with whatever.
Yeah, I get what you're
Hmm.
saying. Now everybody's got It's like a oh, also good shout out. Talk to me.
Oh, yes. Talk to
Oh, we
Me was
completely forgot about that.
fabulous.
Oh,
Stop everything you're doing and watch Talk to Me. Very excellent movie. Very dark. Very
very dark.
like you're not getting a break. You don't come up for air. Like just amazing. Like fuck around and find out. It should be the
That
title.
that should be a fuck around and find out. Literally, that's what they should at least put under talk to me. Fuck around and find out at the bottom of it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm,
is the perfect one of like, this is why we don't dip. We don't do
uh,
that.
right? Like you don't just go, your first thing isn't going out to get a Ouija board and then you contact, somebody. I don't know. Don't do it. Like,
Yeah, you don't get a fucking haunted object just to like fuck around with and throw around your house and be like, oh, look how cool this thing is.
but yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So the right was it's Anthony Hopkins. I have a complete crush on Anthony
Mm,
Hopkins. I don't care if you think it's right or wrong. I am okay with it. Ever since
yeah.
Hannibal, love him and
Love
think
him.
he's hot as hell. So of
Love the
course,
man.
when the right came out, I was like, he's a priest and he does exorcist. Sign me up. I'm ready.
Oh yeah.
I have a demon in me, I'm sure. So I thought this was very beautifully done. I thought it starts off with a struggling priest and he doesn't know if he believes, he's having struggling with his faith. And apparently I'm having trouble with my, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Sure can.
It's fine. I'm fine.
It's a ghost.
I had Reiki done last Friday, and ever since then, a lot of things have been a little wonky.
That's fun.
Anyway, so um he uh so in like fashion, these movies always they start little, there's little signs, we start doing little things, so a sight, a thing falls off a thing, like all that kind of stuff. Then we meet Anthony Hopkins. He's like on the outskirts of the priesthood. He's got all these fucking cats that he loves, which also makes me love him even more because I was
Yep.
like, yes, yes.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
and then this guy, because the head of the exorcist, like, and Anthony Hopkins is his usual quirky self, and he doesn't speak. He's like Yoda. He doesn't speak in full sentences. He doesn't explain fucking shit to you. He's like, "Come, come," and you're like, "But what are we doing?" And he's like, "Come, come." And you're like, "But am I prepared?"
He's like,
He's
it's
like,
fine.
so they go, they do some exorcists, and he, of course, the guy is still not believing and lacking in faith and all that kind of stuff, and then he sees like stuff happening, and then it gets worse, and then Anthony Hopkins gets possessed, and then he has to do a full exorcism movie. If you want to watch exorcist movies like I like you like, please give this one some attention. It's amazing.
His acting in it is so good. He plays
Have
a like a possessed priest very better than I have seen. That's for sure. That's one of my favorite horror
Yeah.
films.
No, he's so good. I love watching him. I love it when he goes on his rants. Like I think I mention this the last or a couple episodes ago where I just watched Sigmund Freud's last session.
Mm.
And I love it because he goes on this beautiful rant about like what's wrong with the world. And he's just gonna like, he's so fed up, but he's so poetic. And I'm like, oh,
Yep. Also, Colin O'Donoghue.
girl.
That's a You're telling me you're putting two very fine gentlemen in one movie about exorcism and possession? Take all my money.
All of it.
Take it all.
It's good.
I had no chance.
It was definitely one of those ones that was, I think, overlooked because I don't think a lot of people talk about it.
100%.
Just amazing.
That was a phenomenal movie.
Yeah. Very well. Very good. 10 out of 10. Would recommend.
10 out of
Watch
10
it.
would recommend.
Watch it twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what do we got? Oh, The Ninth Gate. The Ninth Gate has Johnny Depp in it.
Young Johnny Depp at that.
Because this is an older movie. I found this movie because again, I love all things supernatural, and this was just one of those ones that I saw a preview on and I was like, yeet.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So Johnny Depp plays one of those people that is always looking for something, books. He's willing to do maybe things that aren't so kosher to get them. He's not necessarily the best person. Um, but this really puts him down a rabbit hole that is a nice ride. This was 1999 is when it came out. Um, this was very interesting because I didn't even think about this as being a magical book. So there was this book, it only has 3 copies in the world, 4 copies in the world, something like that. And he needs to go, and they know where they all are, kind of
Mhm.
thing. They know who owns them. It's these rich elite people that own them. And the one guy was like, I need all of the copies or something like that. So he, through Johnny Depp, is like, no, no, I'm willing to pay whatever and blah, blah, blah. So Johnny Depp goes out to kind of find these books. And oh, it's called The Nine Gates of the Kingdom of Shadow, a book by a 17th century author to summon the devil. That's the
Mhm.
main thing that they're trying to do. Well, of course, the guy tries to I think he tries to open the gate and realize it doesn't work. So now what he's doing is he thinks, or maybe there's a whisper of like, uh, the images in the books aren't all the same. And unless you had all 3 books together, and maybe that's what it was, the
Oh,
original thing was, is that they wanted to see what the difference is in the books. Because a lot of times in magic books, there in every magic book, and probably in your recipes from your grandmother, there's always ingredients that are left out, or there are steps that are left out. Because really, if somebody came and started to summons the demon or a devil, we'll say, just to play along, um, by themselves, they can't really do it. All the stuff needs a mentor. You need somebody to guide you through it, right?
right.
To like, don't step in that, don't do this, but do this, blah, blah, blah. You need a guide.
Yeah.
Um, so I believe that that's kind of a safety mechanism to, uh, they leave out things. So
Mhm.
this is no different. This book has different illustrations in each book. They're just slightly different. They're not it's not like it's a whole new picture. It's like you literally have to compare the two to realize the difference in them.
Right.
Right. So this is what he does, and it goes all the way down to the fact that he finds himself at an abandoned castle. There's chanting, all that stuff. It's a wild ride. I recommend if you like it. It's very cool to like see how this progresses, and it's a different way that I've seen occult films.
So I watched the trailer for it too, and there was like this part where the gates open. And like, what's the point? Is the ninth gate for hell then?
Well, I think the nine gates are basically the nine images in the book.
Okay.
And you have to do them in a certain order or something like that.
Okay,
There's a
okay.
certain, these are keys to the doors, and you have to unlock them in a certain order to actually open the gates of hell.
Ooh. Ah.
Ah.
Light bulb.
Ah. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that's too much I'm not gonna, I haven't seen it in a little while. I need to, his name is Dean Corso too. I just realized that.
Being Corso.
I don't know,
It's
just
like,
because it's just a good name.
it also reminds me though, I'm like, why does that sound familiar? It reminds me of King Corsos.
Right, right. Which is King Corsos weren't really a big thing in the 1990s.
No, no.
There was, oh, I forget who was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. None of it matters.
Watch the movie. That's what
Watch
matters.
the movie. Right, watch the movie. It's good. You won't be sad about it. Um, Yeah, I think that's all I got. The only other one that came up in my head that we should mention was what was another horror movie that never mind, it's gone. It left.
Um, One that I wanted to mention too that I just watched that's really good. I think we mentioned it when we were talking about nuns in the past couple episodes or something. Because I can't remember when we brought that up, but Immaculate, Sydney Sweeney plays in her first horror film.
Hmm.
It's so fucking good. It's so good. I keep thinking about it because I was like, wow, it's horror. I thought it was going to be more scary or there was going to be more like, I don't know, blood and guts or something, something scary, like something paranormal. It's for me it was more thrillery, but it definitely is a horror. Oh, it's just so good. Yet
Hmm.
again, a nun movie. I love them. I love them. I love
Gotta
them.
love nun movies.
But Immaculate was really good. They basically try to get her pregnant with Jesus's baby. And it's a wild ride, to say the least.
Jesus's baby.
His baby.
His
Hmm.
baby. That's an interesting thought, actually. I wonder how do you I have questions.
You gotta watch the movie because I don't want to give too much of it away because it is so brand new that like I don't want like to give away like how they try to do it, but it's actually really fucking fascinating, the whole concept behind all of it. But God, that was a good movie. Also, the chick from The Witcher's in it.
Oh,
Just realized that.
really? That's
Yeah.
cool.
You know the dark-haired woman that plays um the heck's her name? My internet's being a stink butt.
I was like, oh, cold.
Yeah. Yeah, it's her.
Jennifer,
Benedetta Porsche Pocarelli, I think is if it's not her, she looks exactly like her. She's an Italian actress and she was really good in it.
which one does she play in The Witcher?
Oh, maybe she's not in The Witcher. I
Oh,
thought she was I think you were trying to say her name, the
Jennifer,
sorceress. Yeah.
Jennifer, something.
Yeah, that one.
Hmm.
I swear that was okay, they look like twins. She's beautiful. Oh wait, she's in a Jesus thing. What is this?
Oh.
What is this? She's in an Italian movie about Jesus.
Oh, that's even better.
Huh. Interesting. Well, that's the only other one I could think of that was like, dude, you gotta watch it. It's so good.
All right, this one's a very new one too. This one, I'm sorry. I looked up Skinna American, and it says here it's a 2022 Canadian experimental supernatural debut. The film follows a young brother and sister who wake up during the night to discover they cannot find their father and that the windows and doors and other objects in their house have disappeared.
Hmm. Interesting.
Um, oh, that seems scary. Oh, so it was a short film first, and then it was released 2023.
Hmm.
I know what I'm doing in a few minutes.
Yeah, right. I'm like, I got some movies to be watching, baby.
I got some movies to be watching. So excited.
All right, my friend. Well, you got anything else on horror? The horror.
Um, you know, horror is one of those things that you either like or you don't like. And, and it's okay not to like them. And I don't like dramas. Every once in a while I'll watch a romantic comedy, but like those wreck me more than the horrors do.
I concur. I I fully support that statement.
Like I watched Call Me by Your Name.
Is that the new one with Sandra Bullock or no, Anne Hathaway or whatever?
No.
Oh.
This was just a drama. It was the one with I think it was maybe Timmy Chalamet's like debut or whatever, but
Mm.
it was a European film about
Oh.
a gay love, young love, and you had this like coming of age kind of like thing. And it was so beautiful, and they get you so revved up and so like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Look at, they love each other, they're having a great time, they're gonna spend the rest of their life together. And then it like pulls your heart right out of your chest and leaves you. And I legit at the end of that movie, and this is why I'm not on the Timothy Chalamet's like bandwagon, but like that boy does something to me. And I literally at the end of the movie, all he does, where the camera closes, is you are in a fireplace, staring at him, looking at the fireplace after he gets this devastating phone call. And he is just in himself, maybe a little shocked, maybe a little like contemplating, maybe like finally killing, that future that he thought he was going to have kind of thing. And you see in the background his mom and her helper like setting the table for like Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner, some sort of celebration dinner, and he is literally just sitting there staring at the fire. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I need therapy, I have to go cry in the bathtub so nobody makes fun of me because I know it's not real. Like,
Yep. I can't do those either. The only movies I want to cry about are Disney. That's it.
yeah, agreed.
People are like, oh, did you watch this? And I'm like, nope. I won't do it.
No,
I'm
that
not trying to
sounds.
have my soul shattered from heartbreak.
Oh, seriously. Just you're like, hold on, let me find my cases back. Put them.
Hey, do you guys see anything red on the floor?
I'm gonna gotta put that back in there. I think I
I
need it.
need help. You guys start feeling around for pieces.
I lost my contacts.
Yeah, for real.
So that's it. That's all we got, babies, on the horror. That is our 2 cents. Take it or leave it. We have a great time with it. So,
Yep, she ain't wrong.
hmm.
Um, Next week we are talking about egregores.
Ooh, that's a good topic.
Yeah.
There's some books if you want to read up. There's some books. I think Mark Stavis, Mark something with an S, sounds like Stavis. He's really got good books on egregores and like we'll dive deep into that.
Okay, cool. I will also be looking that up. Stavish. Mark
Stavish.
Stavish.
Hmm.
Alrighty, my friends. Well, we will see you in the next episode, and we hope y'all have a good week.
Bye.